So this is our web page. Sorry, there was some hiccup, some technical issue with the previous recording, so we actually re-record this presentation here. So just like the previous one, if you have seen already, there is a healthcheck.html file that we are going to put it here. We'll provide the ping path to this file only. So presence or absence of this file will, or ability of Elastic Load Balancer to ping this particular path, to be able to ping this particular path or not, will decide whether our instance is healthy, our web server is healthy or not. Response timeout, if you take, whenever you see this exclamation mark, always in initial phase, always try to have a little sneak into this particular description, because it will help in clearing out a lot of conceptual barriers. So if you see, response timeout is time to wait when receiving a response from the health check. So how much time after pinging, how much time it should wait for the response. So the range is 2 seconds to 60 seconds. If we want to make our web server very responsive against any kind of fault, we can reduce the time. Interval is how much time it should wait between successive health checks. So this range is also between 5 seconds to 300 seconds. The lesser it is, the more responsive it is. But yes, it has some downside also. Too many health checks, too many engagements may hamper the performance, in case you have, like, we are using a very basic configuration of instance. So means there are some trade-off that we need to think about, not related to, this is not the discussion which is related to this test or demo, but I'm talking about, I'm more concerned towards the production servers here. So we need to see a trade-off between successive health checks and everything. Unhealthy threshold, like after, like these are 2 health checks, it is going to run 2 successive, or how many health checks it is, a health check it is going to run. It is going to wait for the response for 2 seconds, then it will carry out the next health check after 5 seconds, and after how many health check failure it should declare that a particular web server is unhealthy. Okay, so how many successive health check failures we can call, or Elastic Load Balancer will label it as unhealthy or out of service. So the range is 2 to 10. So 2 will keep it to the minimum value. Healthy threshold, similarly, like 2 health checks, it will label it as unhealthy. In the same way, healthy threshold, we can say after, let's say after again 2 successive health checks, it will call it a healthy server. So that's it. Now we'll register our a single EC2 instance. We'll select it. We'll create add tags. We'll give it the name. If I remember correctly, we gave it a name, DotNetTricks ELB, DNT ELB. Now review and create. One very important thing that we need to understand, that, so see you here, you see the different configuration thing is here under health check. Under the description, you won't find any IP address over here for your connected to your Elastic Load Balancer. That is slightly different from the traditional point of view about load balancer. Here you will get the your DNS name. Okay. The type classic, it's internet facing, availability zone covered, all 3, though we are running our instance in only one AZ. Port configuration, we are the listener configuration. Instances, what all instances registered with this. Health check settings, listener settings, monitoring, this is a topic of which will fall under the CloudWatch. And the tags and the migration, again a topic of separate discussion here. Now if I see here instances, it is showing out of service. we can either configure it for to check all the time, or we can manually run a restart command over here. Okay, we can check the status. It's all active and running. Let's clear the screen. I hope if I refresh it, now it's in service, if you see. Okay, now if I take copy this DNS name, I can copy it from here or from here. Let me copy it from here, and if I try to ping it, if I try to open it in a browser, it should redirect me to the index page. Yes, there was a slight latency, I guess. So now I can see my web page here. Now suppose in what case it will call it right now, what it is showing in service. Now in what scenario it will call it out of service instance? When it won't find the health check script over there. This particular file, if it is not there, it will label my instance as an unhealthy, and it will stop redirecting the traffic towards this particular instance. So let's try out and see whether this particular option, please mark this thing here, this particular thing will change. I'll go here. If I ls, I am right now in the HTML folder. I'll see both the files are there. Here my health check is there. Sorry, sometimes I become too much laid back. While shuffling different systems, Windows and Linux, sometimes some laid back attitude comes. So here this health check script, health check.html file got removed. Now if I refresh it here, it will run some test over here. It will try to ping, and now you see here it is showing in service, but if I refresh it here, we should see now it's out of service because the ping request not able to find this health check.html file. Now if I try and put another file here, let's say I will say echo this instance is healthy, but what I'll do, I'll play a slight trick here. Instead of giving a health check name, I'll give it a health.html. We have this file. What do you think? Will it pass the test? No, it will not. So we need to give it exactly the same name. Let me remove this file and create another file. Slightly rocking. This instance is rocking, and we need to give exactly the same name, or we can go and configure that health check also. We have these files. Now we'll go here, and if I refresh it, it will run some tests, and see, now it's in service again. I forgot to show you the stuff at that time when it was out of service, but it was the case, it wouldn't have appeared. If you want to say, I can show to you again that if I remove this file, after some ping request, it will go out of service. It is out of service, and if I refresh this page again, this page isn't working. Okay, so that's the case here. HTTP error 503. Okay, this page is not running, server side error. Now if I go and create this, the instance is also out of service. If I go and I just need to echo the last, I have this. Let's go. It will take some time in service, and if I now it should route the traffic to this instance. So that's it, guys. This is the way that you can configure an elastic load balancer or classic load balancer whenever any question comes about ELB or CLB. Classic load balancer, if somebody say, or SIRF, or if it's just a load balancer only, it's just a load balancer, or ELB. All these three terms will only direct you to the classic form of load balancer, which we did right now. For application load balancer and networking load balancer, they will specifically take this term, application load balancer, network load balancer. Otherwise, whatever load balancer scenario they will discuss with you in question or in interviews or in this particular scenario where you need to architect a particular solution for any organization, whenever load balancer term is there, either you ask, where if in case you are consulting or you are trying to architect something in the meeting, you ask whether, most of the time the purpose in itself will tell you whether it's they're talking about the application load balancer or the classic load balancer. Otherwise, you can, for your clarity, you can ask also which load balancer you're talking about here. Or in question, if you talk about in the written form where you've been asked about question or in the testing certification time, if nothing is mentioned before load balancer, it means that they are talking about classic load balancer or elastic load balancer. Elastic because in itself it is very much, it has the capacity to take care of any number of requests. So that's it, guys. That's it. I hope you would like this presentation, our very detailed presentation on elastic load balancer, and see you in the next video. Thank you.